What's up, my Philadelphians? It's your boy McGarris and your boy Cash. We just want to take the time to just promote or get you guys to go out and take your COVID vaccine. COVID is very serious here, especially in the Philadelphia or tri-state area, I should say. Please go out and take your vaccine. The CDC has just released new guidelines that people who are fully vaccinated can go into areas without wearing masks. I'm sure you guys want to go out and have a good time, and it's summertime and we are all outside. So definitely do your due diligence and go get your COVID vaccine.
It's real. What the man said, that's true. It's real, man. Go out there and get your bikes.
My name is Portia Kamara. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Multicultural Community Family Services.
And good evening to our viewers at home. I am your host, McGarris Jackson, and welcome to the Lrtn Live update for your local general political news. You can catch it here live. Today we have a special interview with aspiring running candidate for the District 12 of Montserrado County in Liberia. Please welcome Mr. Jerry K. Yogboh.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for having me.
How are you today?
I'm doing great on a lovely rainy day in Philadelphia.
So this is your first time actually in our studios, right?
Yes, this is my first time on your show, but I've been here previously, yes.
Well, we would like to give you a warm welcome. Welcome to our studios. Later on in the conversation, we'll have Mr. Nathaniel Y. Heron joining us and Mr. J. Randy Doppler also joining the conversation as our panelists. But before we get into the actual conversation, I'm going to give Mr. Yogboh an opportunity to kind of give a little personal and professional background about himself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jackson, for having me on this lovely Friday evening in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My name is Jerry K. Yogboh. I am a child from Lafayette County, the Northern part of Liberia. I currently live in Montgomery County, even though I have moved back home in my District 12, to be specific, Ghana Shoe Factory, where my resident is and I reside, but I just got back to the United States. I'm currently married with 2 kids and a beautiful wife, Teresa Yogboh. Currently, I'm self-employed. I work for myself. I run 2 small successful businesses. Tech One Solution, who is a consulting and financial management business, and also I run a small successful home health agency within the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I've been in business for a little over 10 years, self-employed. And I'm a Liberian from the Lrtn tribe, like I said, from the Northern part of Lofa. And I will be contesting come 2023. But for now, I'm focusing on my charitable work. I'm the CEO of Yogboh Foundation, the Jerry K. Yogboh Foundation. Foundation that has been established since 2012 here. And we have been engaged with a lot of charity work, which I will be going over some of them in detail as we start. But that's who I am, and that is Jerry K. Yogboh.
Thank you, Mr. Yogboh.
Thank you.
So the first question of the evening would be what what prompted your candidacy?
Actually, I would say what prompted my intention to run
Uh,
or to focusing on running come 2023. It's from a background where one, I'm a Liberian, and I'm the son of Liberia, born and grew up in my district, District 12, the Ghanaian community. And we all have the civil crisis that came out, and some of us fled Liberia to seek greener passion in the Western world. And I was fortunate to find myself in the state of Pennsylvania. But I just did not stay in Pennsylvania since I became resident of Pennsylvania. I've been back in my country so many times. And every time I go back, I see Liberians, especially those from my district. I just feel that they are not progressing. And I have witnessed a couple of elections, and I kind of realized that my representation in my district is needed because those that have been representing us or are representing us haven't done a lot for our people. And because of few reasons, one like healthcare, like the full representation of my people, they are not being listened to, looking at education system, and among other things, have just brought me to closer to making that decision to contest come 2023 because I feel that I can make a good representation because I believe in the institutions, not in the individuals. So with the principles that I live by and I do things by attain, if I having to put those principles into practice, become a representative, I will become the servant of my people. So my intention comes from those few background that I just stated, and as we go into the interview, I will further elaborate on each of those reasons why I want to become a representative of District 2 FCON 2023.
Thank you for that. You said something that was very well, kind of eye opening and somewhat inspiring. In order to be, I've heard this saying numerous of times, in order for you to be a great leader, you have to also be a good follower.
Yeah.
In the same token, in order for you to be a great authoritative power, you also have to be able to learn how to serve
Yes.
as well. So I think that's very beautiful. May I ask you, what qualifies you besides being a Liberian to want to run for representative of the District 12 of Montserrado County?
That's an interesting question. And if we look at our constitution of Liberia, there is no special qualification for one to have before you become a representative besides being a citizen by birth from Liberia and being domiciled within the district you want to run for. And I think those two qualifications just qualify me to be. But I bring to the table a lot of other experience when it comes to representation. One, I am a manager, and I'm not a politician. I'm a business guy, and I have managed a lot of people from the time I came into corporate America. I have worked in so many areas of the American society. For my background, I'm a computer tech. So I have worked for 4,500 companies. I work at Microsoft, Dell. I work for Penn State University. Currently, I do some consultancy work for Smart Souls, Headphones. Those are all computer industry that I work for. And I work with people from diverse background. And with understanding those individuals I work with and the principle which I believe in, I believe that people should serve and put themselves in a position in which to serve, in which to be able to listen, because listening is one of the huge characteristics of a leader. And you have to be honest, when you represent people, and you also have to be able to communicate. And looking at those three characteristics, even though there are many, which I think I possess, because for my working environment, I've been able to be able to listen to my employees, listen to my coworkers, listen to people I represent in organization I've served, being able to communicate with people, and or I'm a human, I err, but I try to be very honest in what I do because I want to be treated just how other people should be treated. So with those principles and all characteristic that I have that I exhibited in places I work, I think qualify me to represent my people and to serve my people truthfully and faithfully.
Good answer. Good answer. Before we continue on with the conversation, I would like to see if my cohorts are would like to join the conversation at this moment. If you could, please give a warm LRTN welcome to U.S. Army veteran Mr. Nathaniel Y. Heron and Mr. J. Randy Dopper. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Well, good evening, Mr. McGuire. This is Nathaniel Heron, OEF veteran, meaning
Mr. Heron,
Operation.
are you there?
Hello? Hello?
Mr. Heron, I don't think we can hear you. I think your sound is off.
No, you might want to talk to Mr.
Just hold
Anderson
on 1 minute. We're just having
to
a
unmute
bit
me.
of technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Mr. Heron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Mr. Heron, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here, but can you hear me? That's my question. Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry, we can't hear you. I think your computer is muted.
Well, it means that I have to get. Hold on 1 second.
Well, while we try to fix our technical glitches, we can just get right back into the conversation. Now, we just talked about what qualifies you to run. Earlier on, when you gave your background and your professional background, you said that you work with or own a couple of charities. What is it that your charities actually do on the grounds in Liberia?
Yeah, the Jerry K. Yogboh Foundation is the foundation I was funded, like I said, since 2012. And my son actually birthed the idea because he wanted us to give back to our people, even though he's no longer. So now the charity is in his memory. So it's and he said that what can we do to give back to our people? Because I was a child, I came to this country and I saw how people live in Liberia because he came to the country during the wartime. So predicated on that, I decided to come up with the foundation. My family and I, who is 100% financier behind the foundation, we have no external financial support. As I speak, everything we put into the foundation is from our how we can earn the money we earn from whatsoever work. But over the years, we have undertaken a lot of projects and have assisted a lot of individuals within the district, to be specific. And we have been able to renovate schools. We were successfully able to renovate a couple of schools within our district by removing the complete roof and putting new roof, because we saw the reason why students were sitting in class, water, rain dropping on them while they were studying. We thought it was to immediately go to the A and renovate those schools. And to be specific, the St. Mary schools located in the True Factory community, and also the Christian Foundation School. As a matter of fact, we just donated $12 to the Christian Foundation School and to renovate the entire school complex roof. We have also been able to help our disabled community. When we first started, our first recipients were the Blind Association within the district. We were able to feed them, put a roof over their heads, give them clothing, among other things. And came the Ebola. We were a part of the Ebola crisis. We help our communities provide sanitation materials during the Ebola time. And we also offer scholarships. As I speak to you now, we have a full scholarship that is going on. We are targeting about 100, 150 students within the district for scholarship. We have also expanded our charitable projects within the community by undertaking a couple of bridges, construction, a couple of bridges within the district. And
wow.
I'm very happy to inform the public through this media that our first bridge project, which is located in the Meridian Center community, which is joining the Bassett Town and the Meridian Center within District 2, have been completed and is awaiting dedication come November 27. We'll be dedicating our bridge to the people of District 12 that reside in those two communities. And we also currently undertaking another bridge that will be joining two communities within the Kasai Boulevard community within District 12. The second bridge will be a 4-part bridge, which is costing roughly around about 15,000 United States dollars. Just it's going to be built over the swarm that connect those two communities, compared to the first bridge that we are about to dedicate from the Meridian Center that is fully going to be used for vehicles. And that costs us around about little over 9,000 United States dollars. And so
And all the financing is coming directly
from my family and I. And we have many other things planned for the community. We have a few commitments that we have made to churches and individuals, groups. We may not have delivered, but we are in the process of making sure that those commitments will be fully delivered. You know, sometimes when you promise our Liberian people that you will do things for them, their patience start to run out because they just want that immediate delivery to come.
Yes.
But one thing I want to let them know through the media is that the Jerry Cable Foundation is a foundation that is there for the people. So every commitment that we have made, we are going to make sure that we deliver on those promises. So those are a few things that we have done, and we intend to do more as our time goes by.
Thank you. Before I go on with the conversation, I would first like to say, please have my condolences on the recent passing of your son.
Thank you.
I think it's beautiful that you're actually honoring him in such a positive way, especially doing stuff in Liberia to actually help your people. I think that is so beautiful. Right now, I think Mr. Heron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Audience, can you please give a warm welcome? Now, give a warm welcome to Mr. Nathaniel Y. Heron, U.S. Army veteran. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much, Mangaya. I'm doing fine. Anyways, for those of you who don't know me, I'm your humble servant, always right 99.9% of the time. My name is Nathaniel Y. Heron. I'm an OIF veteran, meaning Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. It's a pleasure to serve as one of the panelists on issues affecting Liberia. And we have a very fine gentleman who is in our studio right now. And I'm pretty much sure he is capable up to the task. So we're going to ask him a couple of questions, but I'm very much privileged at least to share the platform and the stage with you, Maguire, and our distinguished guest, Mr. Jerry Yogboh. So, Mr. Yogboh, welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for your service to the great United States. It's highly appreciated. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Maguire. You can go ahead, sir.
I think we're missing one other panelist, Mr. J. Randy Dopper. Mr. Dopper, are you there? Oh, Mr. Dopper is not in currently. So you guys have your two co-hosts and panelists, me and Mr. Heron. Mr. Heron, I was just talking to Mr. Yogboh about what kind of work his charity did on the grounds in Liberia. Just gave a couple of really good projects that he has been working on. But before you ask your question, I would like to ask one more question. We're speaking about the position of representative in District 12 of Montserrado County. Mr. Yogboh, can you please, for our viewers, elaborate what the position of or the position of being a representative entail? What does it entail?
Actually, it has a very simple definition of meanings of being a representative. You are there to represent the people. Not just the people, but everything that pertains to the people. The welfare, the well-being, the full representation. So people that claim that being represented is to just enrich themselves or to change their life, I think they are totally wrong, because when you are representative, you are there to represent the people. You are almost like a town crier for the town. So being a representative, if I'm elected, I'm going to go there to represent my people, to make sure that the voices of my people will be heard through the central government, and everything that they are entitled to will be given to them. So that would be my responsibility, is to fully represent my people. And that's why one of the reasons that I will be discussing as we go through is to get the people involved in their own representation. And we will be looking at what we call shared representation. So we'll be elaborating on that as we go further. But the simple answer is to represent the people in every way they should be represented.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Mr. Herring.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on the point that you raised, Maguire. And I agree with you in its entirety, Mr. Yogboh. One of the cardinal responsibilities of a representative is to represent the people. But before even diving into that, I want to ask you a simple, pointed-headed question. When did you make up your mind, or when did you decide to run for representative? Can you just tell me the time frame?
That's a very interesting question. My intention of representing my people did not just come overnight. From the time we started to have democracy return to our country, I have been fully involved with my people. And I observed very well. I participated in every processes that took place in my country, my district to be specific. Even when Honorable Kume was elected, who is my childhood friend, we went to elementary school, we played marble together, we played football together. I was there. I supported him. When Honorable Anderson was elected, I was there. And I encouraged people to go and vote. But during those times, I thought that those individuals could fully represent my people. So I we need to work with them to make sure that we have our people interests local very seriously. But as time came past, these representations of our people were not really being exhibited to the fullest. Came Honorable Sama, who is there now. I was there when he elected. Again, we encouraged our people to go out to vote. But as I sat by and watched these people representing our people in a wrongful way and not seeking an interest, but their interest, I just come to the conclusion that I think it's time that I settle the place. So it took years for me to come up with a decision, because I thought I could work with other people to make sure that we get our people to get what they deserve. So as we look at time pass, we make the decision gradually, and finally came 2021. We have come to realize that we ourselves can make that full representation, and our people will be fully represented. So to answer your question, our decision to participate in the process in 2023 did not just come overnight. It came over time. And this is the time that we finally decided to step out to the plate, which is 2021.
All right, just a follow-up question. I totally understand where you're coming from. According to you, you supported Honorable Anderson and Honorable Cummings. Just for the record, can you please tell us who are those people? Because other people may not know who Honorable Anderson is. Other people may not even understand or know who is Honorable Cummings. When you talk about Cummings, like Alexander Cummings is a household name. So you're not referring to Alexander Cummings.
No, Cummings.
Yeah, Cummings. So
Cummings was the first representative of District 12.
Yeah, so we need
He
his
was
full name.
he was
We need his full name, and we need Honorable Anderson full name, and from what time these people represented District 12. That we will be able to know who actually you're referring to, because it's just like a generic name, Honorable Anderson. We don't know who Honorable
okay.
Anderson is.
Kume, who was the first representative during the first time we had our first democratic election after the Civil War, when Montserrado first ran her first term. He was the first representative elected in District 12. And then came Honorable Ruben Anderson, who was the second representative that removed or said Honorable Kume. He was the representative that was voted in during the second term of Montserrado. And now Honorable Joseph Selma, who is there now, he was just elected during the first term of President Weah, who is now the president. So we, Honorable Selma now, who is there, he's the third representative we have since democracy returned to Liberia.
All right, that's good. Thank you for the clarification. Now, according to you, you said you supported some of these individuals. For example, Honorable Anderson, you supported him 100%, and Kumi, you supported Kumi. For our audience sake, can you tell us what precipitated your action for who you supported these people, and now you decide to say, you know what, I think I myself can do the job. But before we get into you doing the job, we need to know what precipitated your action of supporting these people in the first place, and what precipitating your action of saying, you know what, I think I myself can do the job. Can you explain that or expand on that for us, please?
Okay, let me just make a clarification. When I say we supported them, doesn't mean that we financially or put in our natural resources to each of these candidates directly. But indirectly, we encourage our people to go out and vote. And they voted these individuals. We did not sit there to criticize them, but we give all through prayers, through any other public means that we went out there. We did not buy them off them. We give them a chance to do what they were elected to do until they were removed. So when we say support, we are not talking about direct support where we give resources to them. But we did encourage our people to go and vote, because the way we vote in Liberia, most of the voters just don't know why they vote. They just go out there and cast a ballot. So that's one of the things that we need to start doing to educate our people to be able to ask the rightful question why you want to represent us. What are those things that you have done or you're doing now that you're going to do better when you get there in our interest? And for previous election, those are things that our voter did not get clear. So we're hoping that come 2023, those are things that we'll be able to educate our people. So when they go out there to make that decision for another 6 years, they will make it right. So these people were elected. I feel that they did not fully represent our people. Because if you go into my district now, poverty is taking over my district. Our health facilities in our district is to a zero number. Schools are not giving what they deserve because our district is not fully represented on Capitol Hill. Because if you want to represent the people, you first want to know their consent. How do you know their consent? You have to engage them, have a series of meetings, or monthly meeting, or quarterly meeting. But over the past 12 years, or we'll say 15 years, these representations or the representatives, I never saw them one day coming back to even have community meetings, even have district meetings to understand the need of the people. And this is why we do different, because I believe what is referred to as shared leadership. I'm going to engage my community in two different directions. The district have what we call the District Development Council. They are the individuals that represent each community within our district. And my district have about 16 communities. So on our district council, we should have about 16 to 17 individuals that represent these communities. I, as a representative, I'm going to engage those guys on a monthly basis. We're going to meet, discuss issue or concern are affecting each of their communities. And then I'm going to bring into place a quarterly district meetings, which will be like a town hall setting. And at these town hall setting, my people will have the opportunity to tell me what they think about my representation. Tell me what are the problems. And we'll be able to collect those data, analyze them, and see how best we can come up with projects based on fundings that are being allotted to the counties, to the districts for development. And also, when we go out there, we would love it to our friends. We'll make friends up there with our contacts and tell them, hey, our people in District 12, Montserrado County, we think they need a school, we think they need clinics, we think they need libraries. And we'll bring those resources back to our people. But we cannot do those by thinking for our people. We have to engage them so we can know their needs. So that's why the shared leadership will come in place, because they will be part of the decision making. And these are things that I feel that formal and current representation of my people, they are not doing. They are not doing because they are thinking for the people. And I think it is good for a leader to be a visionary, think ahead, but you also have to be able to communicate with the people you represent. And they are missing the point because they are not listening to the people. And if you cannot listen, then you won't be able to communicate with them because you'll be dishonest. So these are a few reasons why I think I can be a better representation for my people, because I believe in these principles. I believe in allowing my people to be part of the discussion so we all can make the good decision that will take us to the next level of our community development as we want District 12 to be.
All right. That's fine. I stay on my quiet. Please, Mr. Moderator, I just want you to give me a little bit of time. It seems to be like Mr. Yogboh is kind of an anesthetic to those who have held power. I want to ask Mr. Yogboh a certain point-ahead question. For example, because we all know encouraging people to participate in the electoral process is quite different from at least endorsing a candidate.
Yes.
I'm a little bit confused here. I don't know whether, because Mr. Yogboh is saying, well, we encourage our people to go and vote for Anderson or Honorable Anderson, with all due respect. We encourage our people to vote for Honorable Kumi, with all due respect. Now, we want to know whether he actually endorsed, because if at all he endorsed any of those candidates, and right now he's telling us, well, these guys went there, what we expected of them, they did not do it, then it has to do with his judgment. It epitomizes his judgment. So my question to you here, Mr. Yogboh, did you endorse any of those two candidates that you say you supported, or you want to encourage your people to participate in a democratic process by voting? We want to know whether you get to the vote. You go vote. Well, who are you vote for? You vote your conscience, or you say, you know what, vote for Honorable Cummings. I think he's a good guy. Or vote for Honorable Anderson. I think he's a good guy. We want to know whether you did that, whether you endorse anybody. Then we can go further.
Okay, and you are quite right. But unfortunately, that I never endorsed any of those individuals. Okay, I did not endorse any individuals.
But how did you support anyone of them?
What, like I say again, support was indirectly, not directly, because we encourage people to go and vote. And like you rightly said, we just told them to vote at conscience, because our jury particularly did not endorse another individual. So I did not tell any specific voter, vote for this person or don't vote for this person, because my endorsement was not given to any of them. Okay. But we did encourage them to go to vote.
Okay. Fair. Yes. It's fair. Now, you talk about shared leadership, and I understand what you're talking about, shared leadership, what you talk about District Development Council.
Yes.
For the benefit of your audience and the people of District 12, can you tell us how the District Development Council is being formulated? Because when you become representative, if you are elected or when elected, they already have the District Development Council there. Yes. According to you, your district has about 16 communities.
Yes.
Based upon the 16 communities, you have prominent citizens, or you have citizens from those communities that form the district development council.
Yes.
Let's assume the district development. I mean, I really don't know much about District 12, but let's just assume the district development council has a mandate, and let's also assume that they have time duration. Let's say district development council is about 5 years or 6 years. How will you go about dealing with people who apparently did not endorse you? How will you bring them on board, or how will you recruit? What will be the requirement for those new district development council members that you will establish in order for you to work together to have this shared leadership that you talk about?
Okay. Yeah. Let me just elaborate on that. The district development council exists by law. So first, I'm not going to put them in place. They're already in place because that's what the law says. But also, the same law says they should be there for at least 2 years. And the community, as we speak now, every community in Liberia have a community leader. Okay? And those community leaders organize local elections within a community that put forward the name of these individuals that will be sent to represent in the district council. So I don't make the district council. I don't select the individual that comes to the district council. The district council members are forwarded to the council from their community leadership. But again, I'm very diverse in what I do. So, or what I will be doing if I'm elected, I will be able to work with anyone that is on our district council because it's not about me, it's about the community. I will listen to everybody. Every suggestion, every ideas will be brought on the table, will be vetted very well, and those ideas that will be in the interest of our people will be put forward and be worked on. That's why I will have monthly meeting with these 16 or 17 individuals at our district office. And talking about district office, Honorable Anderson started to construct a district office which he did not complete. And it just, unfortunately, our current representation, he is not willing to continue that project. And like I told my community, the first 100 days of me being in office as representative will be the target to complete that district office, because that is the office that we're going to use to have these meetings. The meetings will not be here in my house. We'll use the district office. So the first 100 days will be focused on how to complete our district office. And then we will move forward. But that's why we'll have the district meeting monthly. And after we have the district meeting every month, we will draw an agenda that we'll bring to the town hall that will engage our entire district. And based on those agenda that will be brought forward will be a general action that have already been dealt with among us, because these individuals brought these requests from, or we bring the requests from their communities. And we'll discuss them and make sure that when we get to the legal meeting, our people will listen and they will suggest. If we have 2 projects, we'll decide which one to give priorities to, and then we will proceed with that. So the district council will not be people that will be set up by me or favor me, but as a leader, that's what makes me the head, and I will be able to work with them because I will listen to all the suggestions and I will learn how to work with them for the betterment of our community.
Thank you for that answer, Mr. Yogboh. I'm sorry, Mr. Heron. I just have to interject for a second. We have to take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back with more with Mr. Yogboh and Mr. Heron and myself. Please stay tight. If you haven't already, you know what time it is. Like, follow, share this video to everyone on your timeline, and go and subscribe to the Lrtn page if you haven't already. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. What's up, my Philadelphians? It's your boy McGarris and your boy Cash. We just want to take the time to just promote or get you guys to go out and take your COVID vaccine. COVID is very serious here, especially in the Philadelphia or tri-state area, I should say. Please go out and take your vaccine. The CDC has just released new guidelines that people who are fully vaccinated can go into areas without wearing masks. I'm sure you guys want to go out and have a good time, and it's summertime and we are all outside. So definitely do your due diligence and go get your COVID vaccine.
It's real. What the man said, that's true. It's real, man. Go out there, get your bikes.
My name is Portia Kamara. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Multicultural Community Family Services.
Welcome back. After a short break, we are back with our guest host, Mr. Jerry Yogboh. But joining us, we have another panelist who has just entered into our showroom in terms of Mr. Renin Dapo. Dapo, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Could you just introduce yourself to the audience, and that way we can take it from there? Because we're here with Mr. Jerry Yogboh, and at least our host, he probably going to use the bathroom. So in the meantime, I'm going to serve as a co-host for him. So Mr. Dapo, go ahead, introduce yourself. Sound begin. Go ahead, doctor.
Yeah, my man, I'm not sure to you. You only forget about people.
But you get up from here, my man. I call you, can pick up your phone. But listen, we'll watch our teleprogram and get off the program.
I know. Anyway, this is Jay Randy here, and it's a pleasure to meet you guys. I'm not sure of Lrtn politics. I started following Lrtn politics in 2010, and I'm very vast and rooted in the political culture of the country. And by way of record, I campaigned for Mr. Weir, and Mr. Weir became president. But I told him during the campaign season that he does become president, which I believe that time he will. He does the wrong thing, I will criticize him. And he does the right thing, I will praise him. And for that, many Liberians don't like to see me on Facebook, but it's not going to change me. So, Mr. Guest, I'm not going to be your friend here because I'm looking out for the Liberian people. I want to see a person who will put the Liberian people not first, but their interests align with their values. That's all. They smile, they fun. Trust me. I had decided not to return to Liberia because the CDC that I campaigned for, I had some of them coming on here, put the man picture up to the airport. When he gets it, so they can arrest him. That's the kind of person I am. So it's a pleasure to have you here, and let me apologize for coming late because, as you know, family value, and I mean, I can't say much, but let me just sincerely apologize to you guys. So thank you guys, Mr. Host. I hope to get to know your name very well, but let me say welcome, Mr. Yogboh. I've seen most of your videos, and I must commend you for the work you're doing, but it just thing that we need to verify. I trust your work, but it has to be verified. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Dapo. Appreciate it.
Well, the host is back. You know, if people say, well, let boy around, the dear got to hide. The host was not around when he went to use the bathroom. And Mr. Heron, who is always 99.9% correct, saw the host back. He's like, you know what? I gotta call my Pepe. The hose is back. So, Mr. Malaya,
Yeah.
you can take charge and carry out the plan of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Heron. Thank you for stepping into the spot when needed.
Thank
So
you,
guys,
sir.
before we went on commercial break, we had spoke a little bit about shared leadership and the concept or some of the struggles that Mr. Yogboh might face in regards to the shared leadership. I would like to ask a question. I'm a critical thinker when it comes to anything I do. I
Yes.
always like to weigh out the pros and the cons.
Yes.
Also, I like to view out the challenges that might come ahead. My question to you is, as an aspiring running candidate for 2023, what hurdles or obstacles do you think you might face? Not only just from the Liberian people, but also for the position that you're running for.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jackson. That's a good question. One thing as a leader, you should be willing to accept criticism and see how best you can accept those criticism and turn it into a constructive, results. So I am one of those individuals that I will not shun away from being criticized. As I speak to you now, we haven't even get into the political season, but individuals that contemplating on running for the same position I will be running for, they have started to come up with all kinds of negative story about me. Some would say I'm from Guinea, I'm not from Liberia. Some say I don't live in the district. Some would come on and all kinds of accusations. But I will not shun away from those things because I have to be able to face them and make sure that I clear whatsoever doubt that they may have and be able to face the challenges ahead of me. Not everyone will be my friend if I'm elected into the chamber come 2023. People may not like my approach because I'm a realist. All right. I tell you just how it is. You can take it or leave it. I believe in an institution. I don't believe in the individuals. So my idea would be sort of idea that would be there to support Liberian people. And one of the things I'm going to be running on is our healthcare system. And in the next coming month, days or weeks, you will get me on other medias when I get back in Liberia. Our healthcare system is in a mess. We cannot have a healthcare system that does not put people in compliance. I went back and was able to lay hand on the 1876 law that created the health ministry. And if you read that law, it's kind of open. There's nothing there about compliance. All you do is fill in an application, pay the money, you get a license. After that, what happens? When the 4 year come, go back, pay the money, and get a license. And to get a vital healthcare system, I think you need to put in some policies and strong regulations. And those are things I will be looking at. It will revise, if I remember quite well, in 2019, if I'm right. Even with the revision of the 1876 law, it still doesn't show anything serious when it comes to healthcare. If you want to run a healthcare facility or be a healthcare practitioner like doctor or dentist or any doctor you want to be in Liberia, we should have certain requirement, more stronger requirement for you to have passed before you get accredited. For example, if you want to be a medical doctor, you want to be someone that will be there to what? Protect life, save life, protect privacy of patients. So what will make you to be able to do those things? You should have greater responsibility. So what I will be introducing is that one, before you can be a practicing or licensed practitioner or licensed facility, you have to secure a professional liability insurance. Because the professional liability insurance will put you in check and will protect our patients. Now, if you read our healthcare law in our country, our patients are not protected. Or doctor will carry a procedure on an individual lost their life or become paralyzed or become disabled for life, and that person will not be rewarded with a penny. And I think it's totally wrong because people are not here responsible for the negligence. So we're going to be looking at putting in a professional liability insurance that you have to secure as a facility or as a practitioner. And we're also going to make the health ministry to come up with strong regulation that every year, before a facility can be relicensed or before a practitioner can be relicensed, that person practice has to be monitored. They have to come up with policies. Because if you go to health policy, the government or the authority should be able to come up with standard. Let's say, for instance, I'll just give you a little one. I run a healthcare agency in the United States. I have over 18 policies that I have to meet or with for the state to certify me to run as a healthcare agency. I have to have quality management policy. I have grievance policy. I have to have incident management policy. I have to have quality assurance in place. And every year, the state comes in and makes sure that those policies are not just there, but are followed because they want to see the data. All right? In Liberia, if you read all our healthcare, we have none. No hospital you can show me a policy of quality assurance. The health ministry should be able to go out there and know why they are operating this way. And look at this. How can a minister of health own a hospital? She is a practicing practitioner. And people die to a hospital, people get paralyzed, people get disabled from her practices, and she works with imperative. It's totally wrong. So it's conflict of interest. No one monitoring her. She just running the hospital. So what we would be talking about is the health ministry should be there as a watchdog for the government when it comes to the government policy for healthcare institution and practitioner. So if you are the minister of health, you cannot practice because who is going to be monitoring you? So then we have to bring that regulatory body or agency or section under the Ministry of Health that will go out every year, monitor every hospital, every clinic, every drugstore, every doctor offices to make sure that they are doing the right thing. And if they were involved in negligence, they should be held reliable. The court should be able to determine what is the reward that should be given to a victim.
Very true.
Those are my concern, and that is one of the things I will be running on. And whosoever is going to be the president, and you want me to support your agenda, you have to focus on healthcare because healthcare is so passionate to me. Because I see my people, they die every day. People go to the hospital, no hospital bed. So what is the health ministry doing? Can the health ministry even tell me how many medical bed care the hospital has? No, because they don't monitor them. So people are dying in our country because we don't care, and our health system is just in a mess. So that will be one of my focus when it comes to me being elected. And because of that, I will have challenges. People may not like it because people have interests. And to tell them that my interest is for my people, I am going to make sure that I will build alliances because I cannot pass law alone. I have to have people that will be able to draft a legislature that will be able to support me and we can get a vote. So I will be able to build alliances with those individuals will be elected 2023 and try to tell them why we need these things. It's time that Liberia get a mild medical practice law because I've been doing research on Ghana and some nearby countries. They do have it. So why Liberia will not have it?
That's very true.
Yes.
Mr. Yokboh, please hold for 1 second. We have an update from Roosevelt Toba on the grounds in Liberia. Roosevelt, how are you?
I'm great, and hello to all.
Hello, Roosevelt. How you doing?
Roosevelt Toba.
How are you, Mr. Talbot?
What's up? Yeah, I'm doing great. Good to have me on. Reporting from Monrovia, I'm Roosevelt Toba Jr.
Thank you.
Lrtn reporter, and I will be giving you updates on of happening in Liberia.
Okay.
I'll be beginning with politics. Clear?
I'm sorry,
As
can you...
relates to politics in Liberia, all attention are now on the situation in the biggest opposition political party, which is the collaborating parties, that's the CPP, which is nearing collapse, one may say, as to who take on the stand-up ship of the CPP. And that is between Alexander B. Cummings and former Vice President Joseph Nima Bouaka, where one of the party, the All Liberal Party, has stated repeatedly that they support the former Vice President for the stand-up ship, including the stand-up of the Lrtn Party, Senator Yomri Lrtn, who is also supporting Mr. Bouaka. But the chairman of the party, Musa Hassan Bedete, on the other hand, is supporting Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, and upon his arrival from the U.S. 2 days ago, had a program for him at the party headquarters, provide approval of the stand-up who saw that as an affront and have decided to function at different venue other than the current party headquarters. A situation that has sparked up debates in the public, with some people attributing the situation to the governing CDC. Yeah, while the Rainbow Coalition, another group of political party, remains silent. So now going to economic. The economic situation in Liberia is going from bad to worse on a daily basis, with the country GDP at 3% per capita. Prices of basic commodity are skyrocketing, with a hard tariff on imported goods on the Liberian market imposed by APM Terminal at the port of Monrovia. Thanks by the reduction in the US dollar. With this situation, the government of Liberia is exerting efforts on the citizen with registration of vehicles regularly, the compulsory obtaining of the driving lessons, people plying the streets, high demand on citizen identification cards before receiving any legal documents. The sole purpose of this is to generate funds to pay civil servants salary because of the huge wage bill incurred by this regime, which has led to salary harmonization of its kind in the region. So we're not taking on the labor. So there are serious labor situations ongoing in Liberia. Serious labor situation ongoing in Liberia, ranging from one company to another, with no redress from governments who are also involved. Quite recently, about 500 employees were on the ground of the Capitol building to petition the legislators to compel authorities of the mining company operating in Grand Cape County to settle their benefits in arrears, including workers of the Golden Variant Oil in Sano County to settle their benefits and crack down on the bad labor practices.
Thank you, Mr. Roosevelt. Mr. Roosevelt Tubber, we would like to thank you for the update. Time is now fast spent, and we would like to take in a couple of questions from Mr. Yokboh before we get off this live. But for more news, we'll have more updates coming from the homeland itself. Thank you, Mr. Tubber, for the update.
Thank you, Aspirant.
Now, Mr. Heron, and Mr. Dappa, I would like to ask, do you guys have any questions you guys have for Mr. Yogboh?
I still have more, but I would like for Mr. Dapo to step in after Mr. Dapo. Then I will come in because he's just
Okay.
joining us.
Mr. Dappa, are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I do have a few questions for Mr. Yoko.
Yeah.
Let me see here. So, Mr. Yoko, I saw your video as you familiarize yourself with the community of people. And I must say thank you for understanding the problem and the situation of the people. But I would like to know from you, how many people live in our district? Do you know the total population within our district? That's my first question.
His first question.
Oh,
Mr. Yogboh.
okay. To be exact, 100%, I will be tell you a story. I don't really have the exact number, but I know we had little over 35,000 to 40, close to 40,000 people up to the last election. But because people are migrating almost every day, to be able to give you an exact figure as of now, I won't off my head. I don't have that figure now. No.
Okay. I don't know because the question was very linear. Because the next question I have for you is out of that total number of people, I don't know, but you don't have a ballpark number to give, so that way we can discuss maybe about 50%, 70% of the number. Because
We can look. Let's just say the lower limit will be 35.
okay, and all that 35. I mean, how many of that number you expect to vote for you from your acquaintance in the community?
Oh, actually, that's an interesting one. With our engagement, because we are not on campaign season at this point, what I'm focusing on is my charitable work since 2012 to current. That's my focus. And while I'm carrying those projects, I'm engaging my people. But for all indication, I can tell you just off my head, all of that, I'm 100%, I would say 95% positive that close to 60 to 65% of those people will come out to vote for me come election day.
Okay. My last question, because I'm sorry for coming late, so I don't want to take over the show. But as far as your observation go, if you were elected today and you gave a big thank you to everyone who support your cause,
Yeah.
what will be the challenges when you join your fellow House of Representatives? From what you know in Liberia now, what will be your challenges that you think you say, look, guys, this is what I will be facing when I get there, and how you tend to overcome those things?
Yeah, I know there'll be a lot of challenges I will face if we are successful to be elected 2023, how I can convince
Can you can,
most
can
of,
you get can you? I'm sorry for jumping in there. Can you get an example of some of the challenges? I would like to.
yeah, I'm coming there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
One would be to set my agenda to my colleagues, but join me to even get a vote on one of my key concern and reason why I'm running the healthcare, because some of them may not understand the importance of healthcare. That'll be my first challenge. I have to be able to convince them why healthcare is important, because a great nation with a great citizenry cannot carry on great development if they are not healthy, if they are not educated. So I first have to be able to convince my colleague why we need to have our healthcare system looked at very critically, why we even need to impose these insurance regulations, these practices review every year. That would be one, and it will be a huge challenge for me. The next challenge will be how I will be able to convince my friends for us to mitigate corruption. You see, because one thing I want to tell everybody this media is that no one person can eradicate corruption in Liberia. Corruption cannot be fully eradicated from Liberia. But sincere and good people can work together to mitigate corruption in Liberia by making sure they put the right policing in place, by making sure the other branch of government, which is the judiciary, is ready to prosecute fully those people that will be accused of corruption, and to be able to convince our executive branch to be able to prosecute and carry on whatsoever decision the court going to give on those people that will be involved in corruption. So it will be another huge challenge. How can I get few other guys to even join us to pass stronger legislature that will be there to help to mitigate corruption? And another challenge I'm going to have is to get my colleagues to truly believe that when we are elected as representatives, what our function is to represent our people, that will take ourselves and put first and put our people first. Because if you look at current legislature, they are not doing that. They put their interests first. And we shouldn't be doing that. We should put the interest of our people first. So those are a few of the challenges, and there are a lot, but those are the three specific ones that I feel I'm going to be faced with, because I'm not going to put myself in any other positions for who I've been known for from among my colleagues, organizations I have served in the United States, and one of the colleagues on the panel this afternoon, Aaron, he is part of an organization that is a noble one that I represented for over 10 years. And when it comes to financial reporting, he knows where I stand. When it comes to professional ethics, he knows where I stand. So I'm going to take the same standard with me when I'm elected, because I do not compromise my principle. I prefer losing everything and to hold my principle, Mr. Dapo. So those are just a few challenges I think I will have, and I will not give up. I will keep pressing on until I can get few individuals that can get the vote to get better legislature for our people.
Are you instilling those value and principle into the young people around you? Because I will say this to you.
Yes.
My interaction with Liberians, young Liberians, as young as the studio presenter there, they don't believe in tomorrow. The guy will look you in the face if you run your campaign and say, "Look, I'm going to pay you a library that will benefit your child."
Yeah.
And then you say, "Oh, the next, please come here, yeah, yeah, join me here. Let 50 cents here, $5 here." Are you instilling the value in the people around you based on what you just mentioned? That you're very honest and you trying to instill the value. How well are your orbiter of people around you really reciprocating what you believe, your philosophy of wanting to have a better Liberia through your agenda? How are they responding, the people around you?
And Mr. Dapo, that's a good question. To be very truthful to you, I have few young people around me find it difficult to accept the way I do things. And over time, they are becoming to realize that this is who I am. Because our old politicians have poisoned the mind of our youth. So the moment you step up there and to say, "Hey, I want to run for this office," the youth become so happy to jump behind you because they have one mindset. It's time that we grab. He has money. We need to grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm changing our dynamics in my district. I have some very sincere, earnest young guys that work for me, and some that are coming on board have started to realize and accept the way I do things. They may have become frustrated or becoming frustrated, but over time, they're sticking around because I keep telling them that this is not movement for putting money into pocket of individuals. If you are coming to join our movement because you want money in your pocket, then you are coming to the wrong movement. Because I, Jerry Yogboh, CEO of Jerry K. Yogboh Foundation, I'm not in District 12 to pocket people pocket with money. No. Every penny that I take or I have in Liberia, in my district, I prefer putting it into project for the people, the majority of the people, to benefit than individuals. So if any young guy within our district think that they are coming on board to get money in their pocket, they're supporting the wrong candidate.
One last question, and then I'm
Yes.
done. One last
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Looking at the national legislature,
Yeah.
I think they are 173.
Yeah.
I tend to be corrected. Do you see whether it's from the Senate side or from the representative side? Do you have anyone within that number that agree with you, that you have conversation with, and they believe in what you want to bring to the national legislature? You don't have to say me. I just want you to tell me yes or no.
No, I have not had conversation with any one of those individuals, even though I have few of them who are friends to me or acquaintance, but we haven't had such a conversation. Maybe they hear me on a national radio or on YouTube or Facebook, but I have never had discussion such with them. No.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you, Mr. Dabo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Heron, any closing comments or questions?
Oh, sure. I got plenty of closing comments and plenty of questions. Anyways, it is true that Mr. Jerry Yogboh been knowing me for a long period of time. And it is also true that he served as a president, or at least former president of an organization that I was part of. And he did an impeccable job.
Thank you.
It is true that he's a man of substance and man of character.
Thank you.
But in this forum, I'm not in the business of endorsing him. I understand he threw in reference to me. Your boy, that you throw me on that left line. You drowning. He said, my man, you got to rescue me.
Not really.
I'm not in the business of doing that right now. You can say, Heron, our president for Heron, all of them. Yes, it's true. You are our president, but right now, you're talking about, according to Mr. Dapo, he asked you a question.
Yeah.
When Dapo asked you a question, say, look, we would like to know if you have any idea as to how much your population is. And you said roughly around 35, but you cannot give an exact figure. And just to follow up Mr. Dapo's question, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I pretty much sure Mr. Randy Dapo also gave you the benefit of the doubt that you don't want to lie or you don't want to speculate. You said just around 35, and that's a fair deal. Now, my follow-up question to you is, Mr. Yogboh. Again, this is not an endorsement for Mr. Yogboh. It's true he served as president of an organization I was with. He did a great job. I'm not endorsing Yogboh on this forum here. I don't want it to be misrepresented. I'm on record. I don't want to be represented. Yogboh, Mr. Yogboh, the man asked you about the population of the district. You said you didn't want to speculate. Let me ask you. You also talk about the community. I mean, you also talk about community development funds. You did not stop there. You expanded on it to talk about various blocks. Can you tell me for the record, if you're running for that district, you must know how many blocks within a community. Sometimes they have block A, block B, block C, block C. I mean D. Sometimes they have around 52 communities. I'm going to ask you for the number of communities, but further I'm going to ask you, before then, let me ask you for the number of communities. Do you know how many communities in our block? Then I'm going to ask you, or you can follow up by saying, you know what? We have just around 4 blocks within a community. Can you tell us? Because I'm from different community. I'm from the Baptist Seminary community of District 6. Mm-hmm. In that district, we have 52 communities. And in each community, we have probably 5 blocks, A, B, C, D. Mm-hmm. If you're running for that sacred position in that area, it means you must know the community, you must know the people. Yes. How many communities do you know that District 12 has in Montserrado County? If you don't know, say you don't know. Don't speculate.
Okay.
Because it will hold you.
Yes. We currently have 16 to 17 communities because the 17 communities sometimes merge with another community. So we hold 16, and each of those communities, not all the communities have up to 4 to 5 blocks. Some communities have 3 blocks, some have 2 blocks, some have 5 blocks. Like I give an instance with the Kazari Bolivar community. The bridge I'm building is connecting block B and C. And in our community, they have up to 5 blocks. So based on the size of the community, determine how many blocks within. But on an average, they always have up to block D. Okay? Sometimes some communities will have to block C. But on the average, it's between 4 to 5 blocks within a community based on the population.
4 to 5 blocks within a community, and you have a community just around 16 to 17 communities.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you talk about the county development funds.
Yeah.
Do you know how much the county development fund? Let's talk about county, because the county development fund goes directly to the county, and I think Montserrado County, and I stand corrected, maybe Montserrado County has just around 17 districts. So
yes,
when the county
district, yes,
yes, so when the county development comes down to Montserrado County, the Montserrado County I don't know whether the superintendent is responsible, but it has been a little bit controversial. Yeah. The superintendent received the money and distribute the money into the very district. The various districts. Yes. Now, according to you, you're running for District 12. Do you know how much money comes within that district from the county development fund in terms of district development fund? Do you know how much the amount?
Oh no! If as I sit here, I do not know because I have not worked closely with the representative.
But you're running now. You're running now, Mr.
Yeah, I'm running, but it varies. No. Yeah, because the development fund is predicated on the budget that is passed.
Yeah, but you're supposed to still know. How much money coming in your district?
Yeah, but to be exact, I won't be able to tell you exactly how much is given to each community because, again, I know the district county development fund is distributed based on the size of the district. So I don't think every district, all the 17 districts carry equal share of what is given in a budget. Okay, so those are things that we're going to work on to make sure that we get to know how the allocation is done. But even with what will be coming into the district, we should be able to go out there and love it for our people. And I will give you an example when it comes to the district. If you look at District 12 in Montserrado County, it's the more industrialized district in Montserrado County. Right where we had the old refinery, the old LPRC compound, we have about 8 different companies that are currently operating our place. They do metal, they do steel rod, they produce glass, canning, and other products. Those companies should be paying what we call in management social responsibility to the environment in which they operate. Now, if those companies are multilateral companies, multi-million-dollar companies, they should be able to pay their share to the community. And even if we get the lowest amount in district development fund, but from those collections, we should be able to help bring some development within our district. Secondly, those businesses that operate within our district should be part of the community. They should be partner in progress. So as a representative that will be working along with the district development council in my district, we should be able to engage and invite those business in organization, those business people to our meetings and be able to go to them and tell them, hey, we want to build a clinic. And this is the budget based on our plan of action. So what can you do for us? And I will give you an example. We have Jetty, we have SETI, we have City Beta. They do aluminum in our district. So if we were to build a clinic or a library, and we had a budget, because I don't believe in doing project with our budget. I don't believe in doing project with our plan. So everything we do, we're going to have a plan. So if we went to these people and say, hey, we want to build a library that's going to cost us $50,000, and we need you to be part of this project. Trust me, Harold, those people, they understand from their business practices that they have they know what we refer to as social responsibility. They will come in, even if aluminum factory is okay, we'll give you the 5 windows that you need. That will help to bring development to our district. So we will be reaching out to those people to bring them on board to make them be part of our district development projects that will be undertaken. So we are not just going to be sitting there and waiting for central government district development fund to come, because we have to fully represent our people. And we are not going to visit those people at night. Because when you start visiting those business people at night, that's when you start to look at your own interests. And that's not who we are. We want to visit those people in the daylight. We want to invite them to our meetings so people can know what their commitment to our community will be. So when our people get those commitments in their heads and they don't see it coming forward, then they can come back. Mr. Representative, we had a meeting, and Seti brother said, "Oh, go and give her 1,000 bags of cement towards a school building." When or where is the bag of cement? Then we have to answer. Isn't it? But when we start visiting them at night, our people will not be aware of those commitments from them. So we are going to make them to be partner in progress for our district development. So we are not just going to be relying on district development fund from the central government, because we know it's not much. So we're going to find other avenues to help develop, because my dream and aspiration for my district is to make District 12 one of the safest, suitable, and lovely community in Montserrado County to live. And I have to do that. I have to be very sincere with my people, and I have to make friends that will help me build my community or my district.
All right, I have 3 more. I have 3 more. Then,
Mr. Heron, Mr. Heron, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we only have time for exactly one more question and a closing statement.
Thank you.
The closing question is even set a reach, but I definitely like the questions that you are asking. I know Mr. Yogboh is answering them very, 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 very eloquently. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask one more question.
That's fine. Mr. Yogboh is fine enough. Our host is telling me, my man, I only have one more question to ask you besides that, a closing statement. In fact, the one more statement is just a help that he's trying to give. But anyway, it's okay, Mr. Host. I will deal with that one more. Mr. Yogboh, you talk about district office.
Yes.
Maybe about an hour ago, probably around 30-35 minutes ago, you talk about district office.
Yes.
You said someone started the district office, the person did not complete the district office.
Yes.
Have you cared to ask? Because in Liberia, normally, I'm going to lay the premise and I'm going to give you the opportunity to answer the question, and I'm going to close. Yes. Normally, the representative sometimes going to use his contact, sometimes he's probably going to use his own personal land, or sometimes his own personal property.
Yes.
To tell the people, say, you know what, this district office, a building district office, for example, District 6, where Honorable, what's the guy's name? Samuel Enders, or they call him African Dream around here, the former Edwin Snow district. Edwin Snow said he was building a district office. Only to know is Edwin Snow's personal property. Did you care to ask the question, this guy that was building this district office, whether that his personal property, because you just promised the people of District 12 that when elected, you'll be able to complete it. Will you complete someone else's property, or will you find out whether actually that property was bought in the name of District 12? That way, anybody who becomes representative of that district, the person can work to upgrade that identical office that the other person started. Will you care to ask question, or it was a mere personal property since he was an incumbent, or since, in fact, he was a representative of that era? He said, "Oh, just blindfold the people and just tell the people, you know what, I've been in your district office." Do you care to ask question whether it was a mere personal property before you put money in that thing?
Yes, we did a little bit of investigation, and from our findings, we came to the conclusion that where the district office is not for Honorable Anderson. A matter of fact, the money that he used to start that project was part of the district funds that were allotted to him. So we have gotten that information, and we're still going to go further to even dig deeper as time goes by. But from what we have gathered so far, the current structure is for Honorable Anderson. It's for the district because I have at least one time conversation with Honorable Anderson, and upon my return, we are going to have more conversation because it's, again, like I said, it's for our district. Nevertheless, he ran and he's not there again, but that doesn't take him out of the conversation. We need everyone to be part of the conversation because if we are to build our district, we all have to come together. So when I return, we will be having conversations that will be reference to our district, not for our personal interest, but for our district.
All right, my parting thoughts, and that way the host will take care because the host said one question and your parting thoughts. Again,
Thank you.
I am Nathaniel Y. Heron, your humble 7, who is always right 99.9% of the time. I'm an OIF veteran, meaning Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. I'm one of the panelists of Lrtn. And just a parting one, Mr. Yogboh, I leave this with you. Please, you're running for that district. When you go there, ask the people or do your research to know how much is the district development funds.
Okay.
Because you cannot run for a district. You don't know how much the district receives annually.
I'm sure.
You're supposed to know that one. You're supposed to be to your fingertip.
Thank you.
I pass it over to our moderator. Maguire, I don't know, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Heron, and thank you, Mr. Dapa. Now, before we close, I would like to give Mr. Jerry Yogboh the opportunity to give a final statement. What is it that you want the audience to know about why you are running?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jackson, for having me, and thank you to Mr. Heron and Mr. Dapo for being part of the discussion today, and the management for Lrtn for having me on your platform today. My people in Radio Land, social media, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you are watching, I just want to let you know that Jerry K. Yogboh is the real McCall for District 12 come 2023.
I love that, the real oil.
And we mean every word that we speak or say on every media platform we appear and every meeting we go to, because, like I always said, the only thing an individual has to making an individual of integrity is his character. So we are going to hold ourselves to that high esteem that whatever we are discussing will be fully implemented. And we are running not because of our own interests, but because of the people of District 12. Because we want for the people of District 12 to be part of the conversation. So we are bringing it to the table, share leadership, where your voices will be held. We are running because we feel our healthcare system is in a deplorable condition, and we need to rescue it. We need to look at our laws that create our health ministry, the mandate that is given to our health ministry. Maybe they need more resources. We will be looking at those things, and we'll make sure that those resources will be provided, and our health ministry will be able to carry on full compliance, regulatory tax as they will be mandated. And also our education system, we are going to be revisiting that, making sure that schools that want to operate on our law meet the full requirements, because our kids are going to school in Liberia, but they are graduating with nothing. When we went to school in Liberia, we graduated with something, but our kids are not. So we are going to be looking at our education system. What can we do? What are the resources that we need to give our educational professionals, our ministries, our teachers, so they can go out there and do the right thing and teach the right material? We need to look if they need libraries, research centers, computers, general infrastructure. We want to make sure that we pass legislation that will provide the resources. And like I said, before I close, I told my people back home, and I would say on this platform, our current budget for Liberia is nothing. And that's why our country cannot develop. It's just static because we keep operating on one little budget. In the 21st century, we should be revisiting our budget. We need to put more money into our budget because the more money we put into a budget will be given to the rightful people that will be able to develop our country. So we are coming to this play not for our interest, but for the people of District 12 and Liberia as large. So I just want to let all of you know on this media today that Jerry Yogboh is a real McCall, and come 2023 is a new day for District 12, the Liberian people. Thank you for having me, Mr. Jackson, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yogboh. We here at Lrtn would like to wish you nothing but the best on your political journey. Please don't let this be the last time you come to a station. We are here for you, and we are here to get the word out there. So please don't let it be your last time.
Sure.
To my viewers at home, thank you for watching our live interview with Mr. Jerry K. Yogboh, aspiring running candidate for representative of District 12, Montserrado County in Monrovia, Liberia. If you haven't already, please like, follow, and subscribe to Lrtn on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're everywhere. We're not only just here, but we're literally everywhere. And we're gonna just continue to expand. A special thanks to my host and panelists at home, Mr. Nathaniel Y. Heron and Mr. J. Randy Dapa. Thank you guys for joining in on the conversation. And we'll sign off and say goodbye until our next interview meeting or next interview next week. Thank you again. I am your host, McGarris Jackson, and this was Lrtn, the live update. What's up, my Philadelphians?